Here, we're going live.
Thank you.
Live. She
Is this your pen, Mr. Hendricks?
She's like,
Or was it, oh, it's from the table?
Oh, we actually have one. He signed
Yeah,
up.
he said something up.
yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it's probably the same thing they did President's thing, but our superintendent had to get up there and do some kind of dance thing. I was embarrassed for him, but
That's pretty good.
you know, I wouldn't do it. You know,
He wasn't embarrassed.
I wasn't embarrassed.
You can't embarrass him after.
I'm from Logan. You gotta do more than that to embarrass me.
Probably should do this. Man, usually whole parking lot full of cars. It's usually a whole parking lot full of cars. Boy, there's nobody there. It's all one road. It's like,
Right, ready? Call this meeting to order Tuesday, July 11th, 2023, Mason County Board of Education, regular business meeting, agenda number 23-02, here at the Mason County Board of Education office at 6 p.m. All members are present, with Mrs. Bonecutter joining by phone. Please stand for the pledge, led by Mr. Billings.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let me see.
Okay, we do have one person signed up for a report,
Yes.
Mr. Dale Shoeb.
Yeah, I signed up just.
Sir,
we
could you
went-
go to the podium, please?
No, I'm gonna step from here if it's okay. Is that okay to you all?
Sure.
But we went to the new superintendent, board member, whatever, retreat yesterday, conference, however you want to do it, training.
The
and
new training.
And I thought it was pretty good. I mean, yeah, I just wanted to see what changed in 18 years, and it's not a whole lot. Follow the law and do what you're supposed to do. And like Jim Davis said, always do what's right with the children first. And, you know, if we do that, we're looking in the right direction. And I wrote down a few notes what I got out of it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he may have got a whole lot more, but I got.
I-
It said we're the most comprehensive state there is on school laws, you know, because it's really complicated in West Virginia, things we can do, can't do. And it says if you're going to do something, find the thing that you want to do the least. In the morning, when you start work, do it first. If you got that there with, and the rest of your day, you're going to have a good day. And it said to look at our policies. A few policies, you know, that we really need to probably update, look at. And one of them is let me look here. It's like the way stuff gets put on the agenda, you know, who gets to put it on the agenda, how we get it put on the agenda, stuff like that before it comes back. And, you know, like he said, you got somebody out there in the crowd that really has it in for us, you know, that really wants to go get us, you know, to make sure we got that right, even with our own board members, so, you know, we don't get blindsided and stuff. It's something, we haven't looked at that policy, I don't think, for a while, you know, and that's something like that. And when we do a policy, how do we change it and how do we adopt it? You know, we talked about that on the sports thing, 'cause that is something you can do and get everything going right, and then find out, you know, we missed something, you know, we didn't do it right, we didn't put it out for enough, what am I looking for, enough
Days for comment.
days for days, you know, and get enough people, and then we got and then a purchase order policy, the way we do our purchases and stuff, the school board knows, you know, how we go about it, how Gary goes about it, you know, take a look at that policy. Our delegation policy, how we do delegations, you know, he said, because that way we don't have 100 people in there and we allow 5 minutes, and, you know, then you start cutting people off, and they say, well, I'm found law, so, you know, you discriminated against me, you didn't hear what I wanted to say, you know, so we ought to, I mean, that's just some things that he pointed out that we probably ought to look at. And it said our superintendent and our treasurer is really the only two that's classified as public officials of all the employees that, you know, if it's a system can, you know, they can be expecting more out of them, probably from the public if they ask for information, you know, and we can't get them information outside the meeting that the public can't get. Let me see, there's a couple other things I wanted to mention. And getting like the agenda for the special meetings, regular meetings. I know we know this, but he pointed out that school holidays is different than state and national holidays sometimes, and we want them don't count as days for the agenda to go out it's school holidays, school closes, if school's closed, that don't count for agendas. None of them counts for the days before the agenda goes out, you know. Said, take a look at our own policies. There were several policies, well, look, I got a bunch of stuff they give us that I think be interesting to the board that I'm gonna try to maybe get us all a copy of sometime, maybe for the next meeting, or let y'all look at it. And the thing now, they said, this is a thing to remember, we hired a superintendent, but you're not one. Point that out, said, y'all are not a superintendent, he is. So, I just wanted to say a few things, you know, about that. The rest of it pretty much was training of how he should do it, how to run the meeting and stuff, and, you know,
No, I appreciate it. I hated to miss it.
you know, I mean, so it was interesting. I mean, there was a whole lot of stuff. That was just some things that I took notes on that I wanted to mention. And another thing, it said, take a strong look at it. Howard Super pointed this out, is executive sessions, when we have executive sessions by phone. If you got a stickler in there, like you said, you have no idea when we was back there talking, who's on that phone. Listen.
Oh, like when one of
Whether
us
it was your
calls in
child
for,
or whether it was your kid that happened to hear you talking about, you know, me, you know, hey, he's got this wrong with him, that wrong with him, gets out and it ruins your character and everything. And they said, take a strong look at that because that could really come back sometime and bite you. I mean, I said you got to kind of watch who you trust, you know, as your board. But that's something he said take a look at because that's a few things that could get us. You know, I mean. That was a whole lot more important probably than what I just said, but that's what kind of related to us, you know. I mean, as far as
No, I'm glad you guys went. I'm glad they did that this year, too.
and that will all be on the whole presentation. I think will be on. We can all get it. It'll be online. You can watch it, and
Okay.
'cause it was really good. It was really interesting. Anytime Howard speaks, it's interesting. I mean, so that's all. I just wanted to tell what happened.
Well, I'm glad you paid attention and.
I paid close attention.
Hey,
I thought it
notes?
was interesting.
Right on him.
Yes, I mean, he only hit me like 4 or 5 times. I mean, the first session.
He handed you a pen and paper. And
Yeah, he actually wrote them down for me.
he said, I want you to say
I had
these
pictures. I had
Tuesday.
pictures. You see the pictures I had to draw all of this.
It was a really good meeting.
Good. Good. All right, 401, recommend the board approve the regular business meeting, agenda number 23-02 of the Mason County Board of Education, July 11th, 2023, at the Mason County Board of Education Office, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, for the purpose of conducting regular business. Motion, Mr. Shob.
I'll second.
Second, Mrs. Tennant. Discussion. Is there anything you needed pulled? No. Okay. Mr. Shob, did you have anything you needed
No,
pulled? Mr. Billings?
708.
yes. Yes, I threw them people I don't know. We'd have to read that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I just need to pull a name or however we want to do it.
Okay. Great. You want to ask Mrs. Bonecutter if she had anything?
Megan, you have anything?
Mrs. Tennant?
I'll be pulling 1002 because I'll be abstaining.
All right, so we're going to be voting on everything other than 708 and 1002. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. 708. Recommend the board approve the following as substitute teachers for the 2023-24 school year. Do I need to read the list, or was there?
I'm just going to,
Who wrote that?
well, I got my wife on there, so I, of course, want to abstain from voting for her. How do we, I'll tell you what, to make it easy, I'll just abstain from it all. And if someone asks me why, I'll just let them know my wife was on there. But I support all these other people that's on here, but I will abstain just because my wife.
You don't support your wife being on there?
I do, but it's
Oh,
the best
you said
thing
all the
that I
other
don't.
people. I wasn't sure. Okay.
Don't tell her.
All right, so
I think you ought to pour a name. Let her read them all.
we're not doing that. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
I'll abstain.
Motion passes 401 with Mr. Billings abstaining. 1002, recommend the board approve the lowest submitted bid from Tenant Lawn Care to install 300 linear feet of 48-inch tall chain link fencing, including all materials and labor at the cost of $6,709.76 to provide fencing on the visitor's side of Wahama Junior Senior High football field. Stadium surcharge fees will be the financing source.
So move.
Motion, Mr. Billings. Second,
No.
Mrs. Bonecutter. Discussion. Mrs. Tennant, you'll be abstaining, is that right? All right, so all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 401 with Mrs. Tennant abstaining. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. And I have quite a few things here. I'll try not to be real lengthy, but there is a small packet that's beside you that I would like to just share some things. As all of you know, last week was my first week in Mason. What a great experience it has been so far. I appreciate all of your all support and just the confidence to allow me to serve the students, staff, and families of Mason County. I want to thank those here at the central office that have been so welcoming. The people in the community that have stopped by. I've been out to a couple of the schools already. I got a tour of Point Pleasant Junior Senior High School. Met some of the teachers that were preparing for summer school last Friday. It's been a great experience so far, and I thank you. As Mr. Shobe mentioned, we attended training yesterday, the new superintendent training, and it was very good. Anytime Howard Sufer starts talking, it's probably worth listening to when it comes to school law. So there are a few things that it's going to bring us into policy. I do have some things on here to request, but I wanted to give a couple policy updates first. In your packet, the first thing you'll have there is the Policy 2431 Interscholastic Athletics. And the reason I included that, I just wanted all of you to be able to see what that new policy will look like with the changes. And I didn't include it all, I just printed page 1 and 2. Page 2 has the color coding, and the way these work when we do a draft, anything in red with the strike through will be removed at the final edit, and anything green will be added. And so we made the changes that the board adopted last week and added sub-varsity football on there of 12 and 10. So that will be corrected and added to our policy manual. Just a note, I'm sure you all are aware of this, there is a period of time between a policy adoption and it being uploaded on the Board Docs website, and that's due to the, I guess, the clerical issues behind the scene. Once we submit it to them, it takes usually a week or two before that gets uploaded. The other policy I wanted to bring attention to today was 3120.01, and that was the annual supplement for classroom teachers holding national board certification. And this is one that was discussed, I believe, the last couple meetings. And I believe that there's been at least one email received on that as well. So the policy you'll have there is the one that was adopted. Just to kind of let you know how that all transpired. The board, you all as a board, had that out for review, and you voted on that on April 25th. And it was approved as amended, as you see here, on May the 9th. And so what you're seeing is everything in red again will be taken out and everything green will be added. And so we have a list of teaching certificates that if they have national boards will be added. And so what will happen there is they will receive an additional, in addition to the state supplement, they will receive $2,000 annual supplement from the county, from Mason County Schools. What I believe the discussion was there is to add and discuss adding a nurse, the nurse, speech, pathologist, school psychologists, social workers, and counselors that may have that national board certification as well. Currently, it looks like what we have is one nurse and 5 speech pathologists that would be eligible to receive that, for a total of 6. If that were adopted and added to this, that would add an additional $12,000 to the annual budget. But to be honest with you, it may also assist in recruitment of positions and be an incentive for people that we currently have to obtain those national boards. And at the end of the day, our children when that happens. So I'm not really here to advocate one way or the other. I think it would be a great idea to help our employees out. But I do want you to know that everything that we add as a county supplement, it's not reimbursable by the state. So that continues to come out of county funding. The other thing on this is service personnel, and I believe that came up as well. This is in the 3,000 section of our manual, which is for professional personnel, so it really doesn't address service personnel at all. What I did find, though, is the next item in your packet is from back in 2017. It went into effect on July 1st. Supervisors, there's a paragraph at the bottom that says that the crew leader foreman shall receive an annual supplement of $9,000. And we currently have one service personnel that receives that. Crew leader shall receive an annual supplement of $4,500, and we have two people, I believe, that are doing that. And a chief mechanic shall receive a supplement of $1,850. And I believe what the board was wanting to know is it allowable in state code to pay more to any particular classification of service personnel? And the answer is yes, it is. There is a non-relegation clause in state code that you can't pay service personnel less next year for the same role that they have. And again, anything that we would go above this would also come from county funds as well, instead of reimbursement. So that's really what I found out, and what we could do, if the board wishes, is that I could bring you back a policy next week, or next board meeting, that we could put out and request, put out on public comment, with those changes added to it, if the board so wishes, and put those out for public comment. And
Yeah, I'd definitely like to get with, especially on the professional part of it, get it going. Then if we can check on, is there, like we said, a master, was it a plumber?
Like
or
master
one,
plumber,
too?
master
That's something we
electrician.
could maybe talk about on the next agenda if there's
Absolutely.
some kind of addition we could add.
Okay.
But the
And-
professional thing, yeah, I think we need to, since it's already there, I like to move
Absolutely.
on it.
And I think one reason I don't really have that today on the plumber 1, 2, I wasn't really sure what you were looking at there, because the gentleman that's the supervisor there does receive the $4,500. And I realize that there may be people that are in a different position that may make more than he does. The reason for that is because of the year's service in state code.
No, I think the thing, if I remember correctly, was like the or some of the skilled workers that maybe went above and beyond just the minimum classification, maybe a electrician. I don't know if there's a master electrician.
I
or-
think, yeah, I would like,
Something.
because I still don't fully understand, I guess, the difference in those classifications. You know, I'm not sure the difference in like plumber 2 and master plumber, you know.
Okay.
So maybe,
I'll be glad to bring that back at the next meeting as well
Yeah,
for you.
I'd love that.
I'll let you know about how many people we have in each category.
Yeah, that's something good to know.
Okay, so like, say our welding instructor, just an example. Now, that's not classified as one or, no, okay. So is there any way to pay someone like that more? I mean,
technically though, it's a certification, almost like like a certified math teacher, right? Or am I looking at that
It
different?
is.
on what
Some
what
out of
type
welding.
Right, a welding instructor would be a little bit different because that's through the career technology
professional.
program.
That's,
And it's a
all of them up
professional,
there have
so
to
it
have
would, yes. It would be within the professional policy.
I'm thinking in terms of, you know, we have problems getting like electricians to come instruct and get welders to come in and instruct. That's what I was thinking of, is somehow being able to entice people to come to us from the private sector to make the salary that we're offering.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll bring a draft policy that we can put on public comment, and then you all could discuss that. If you want to add things to that, we certainly could.
Okay.
Something we need to
And
talk
see what the public,
Yeah.
has to say about it, and what kind of input they have, and we could share at the following meeting.
And, of course, I'm concerned too with having the money to fund these decisions.
Right.
So if you can look into that to see,
I have, the $12,000 right now would not be an issue. Mr. Hendricks and I have discussed that. That would not be an issue at all, and a small increase in that number would not be an issue. it would certainly benefit our students as well. So, and it would be a recruiting tool, to be honest with you. So,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome. Moving on, as Mr. Shobe said, in addition to those two policies, we do need to look at some of our other policies, and what I would like to do is also bring a few policies that we could potentially put out on comment, and those would include special meetings, which is policy 165.2. 165.1 is our regular meetings. 171 is review of policy. 1540 is termination of administrative contracts, and then I'll also bring the 3120.01 annual supplement for classroom teachers, if that's okay with, I'd like to bring
Absolutely.
those. All right, thank you. Also in your packet, you have a list, moving on, of summer enrichment. That started this week. And so what you have there is a couple sheets that talk about each program throughout the county and how many students are in attendance at each one of those. And also put on there the credit recovery, which we have 5 students currently at Hannon High School, and 20 at Point Pleasant, and 25 at Wahama. And there's also a brief thing on there about extended school year and the services we're providing to those students as well. Today, I had the great fortune of being able to have the first cabinet meeting here with the directors at the central office, and that is where I discussed with them the transition plan. And what I wanted to do is try to relieve some of the anxiety that I know everyone feels when there's a change. But over the next several weeks and months, what I would like to do is to be able to visit all of our schools and get to know our administrators, our students, our teachers, our staff, our bus drivers across the board. Try to meet with community members and different community organizations and some of the school activities that are going on. And the whole goal there is to try to just gain an understanding of where we're at, what we're doing for students, and really is to find out how the district can better serve the students' needs. Because what we need to do is make sure that the services that we deliver from the central office are here to support our staff and help our students. And so throughout that goal, I really came down to 4 main goals that I have and main focuses. The first one is to establish high expectations for student learning that result in increased student achievement for all of them. Build a strong, trusting, productive, and collaborative relationship with the Mason County Board of Education. Collaborate with our stakeholders and ensure financial and school district effectiveness with efficiency with high accountability standards. And so those 4 goals, I know they're lofty. We're going to talk about goals in a moment, but I think that if you don't have an ambitious goal, you're really wasting your time. You need something to work towards. And what we need to do is make sure that our students reap the benefits of everything that we do. That's why we're here. There are 2 items to note on the board agenda. I know they were adopted. I just want to make sure that you all know that we addressed those before we came in here today. The first one is on 7.05, Lauren Corsaro. Her name was misspelled on the agenda. The board item recommendation didn't change at all except the spelling of her name. We corrected that for the agenda. And also, when we first posted the agenda last week, we had a blank on 7.06, and we were able to add Erin Tolliver's name as the principal at Point Pleasant Primary on Friday. She's not in town, so she could not be with us this evening. But I look forward to great things to come from there. So, the West Virginia School Board Association, they announced their fall conference at the Town Center Marriott Hotel in Charleston on September 8th and 9th. It begins Friday at 1 p.m. and concludes Saturday at 11:30 a.m. And board members receive 7 hours of training credits if you participate in the entire conference. If any of you are planning on attending and would like my office to make those reservations for you, or those and RSVP for you, if you can let me know, I'll be glad to take care of that. It's not a problem if you want to stay at the Marriott or wherever you may want to stay, Embassy Suites. But just let me know and I'll take care of that. And lastly, in your packet, we also reviewed the Mason County Schools goals that are listed in the strategic plan. And those are for this coming school year. Again, a couple of those are really lofty goals, a 70% proficiency in reading and in math. But again, I want to make sure that we're utilizing the resources we have for our kids. I think that's very important. Because I think we need such a focus on instruction in our district, I would love if you all would allow me to add an agenda item at each meeting that would just be an instructional update. I'll try not to make it too lengthy because I respect your all's time, but I would like the opportunity for our central office to be able to share with you some of the things that are going on in our classrooms and training sessions, and share some of that student achievement growth that we plan on seeing this year.
I think it'd be
I'd
great.
love that.
See, I think that's something they told us we had to do, wasn't it?
There,
At least
each
once a
agenda
month,
has
talk
to
about- yeah.
address,
'Cause I think that's what a couple counties.
I'd like to actually put a separate item on there for instructional
love that.
update, so. And, sorry it's so lengthy, but that concludes my report. I do appreciate all of your all's support, and just a great community. There have been so many people stop by and call, and I really appreciate all of them. Thank you.
This calls just a minute before we move on. For the next one, can we maybe get like an update, or maybe too early, just to see where we are on staffing? I know we had a lot of retirements and there are a lot of positions posted. I was just curious where we're at on numbers or where we're going to be.
Absolutely.
Like I said, maybe too early to know that, but just whenever you get a chance.
We
or Ms.
have,
Martin.
we have a posting going up in the morning that goes, and starting this week, we're using Frontline, which is a state database where we're posting those. So those will go live in the morning, and there are a number of professional and service jobs on there, as well as extracurricular positions. So I'll be glad to share those with you.
Thank you.
I want to maybe add on to that a little bit, or a question. I don't know, I'm sure all of you guys, like, I get messages probably every week just asking how somebody, like, what they need to do to become a sub, or how somebody goes about applying for one of the service sub positions. I didn't know if maybe there was something or a couple documents we could come up with, maybe to put out like on the Facebook page. Because it's probably once or twice a week, whether it's for a sub teacher or a service job, you know. And lots of questions about requirements for somebody to be a sub now. So maybe just
Sure.
any of that information that may help us fill some of the spots. If I just think sometimes people don't know where to go or how to start, and that may be helpful in filling some of those positions.
Absolutely.
Something
Yeah.
simple to put out, like on
Absolutely.
Facebook.
Come up with something we can share and something put out that you could just click on and know where to go to or who to
Like,
call.
these are the requirements, this is how you go about it.
All right, absolutely.
Does anybody have anything else?
Megan, anything?
All right. 1401, recommend the board adjourn regular business meeting, agenda number 23-02, July 11th, 2023, of the Mason County Board of Education, held at the Mason County Board of Education office in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Motion, Mrs. Tennant?
Second.
Second, Mr. Billings. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passes 5-0. We're out at 6:26.
I will be interested
I know
in the
Howard and
pop-up.
everybody
I usually
Very
always
good.
do that one.
Very good.
watching.